In the last decade, two practices have quietly taken over the world of longevity science. Two opposites. One burns, one freezes. And both have been studied extensively enough that researchers are now making claims that would have sounded insane 20 years ago. Sauna and cold plunge. But here's the question nobody is answering clearly. Which one is actually better for making you live longer? Is it the heat? Is it the cold? Or is the real answer something that almost nobody is talking about? Section 1. Why discomfort is the mechanism, not the side effect. Before we compare the two, you need to understand why both of them work at all. Because if you don't understand the mechanism, you'll never take it seriously enough to actually do it. The word is hormesis. Hormesis is the biological principle that small, controlled doses of stress make an organism stronger. Not metaphorically stronger, biologically, measurably, cellularly stronger. Both sauna and cold plunge operate on the exact same principle, but at a deeper, more systemic level than exercise. They stress the cardiovascular system, the nervous system, and the cellular repair mechanisms in ways that force the body to adapt. An adaptation at the biological level is the opposite of aging. Every time your body is forced to adapt, it gets younger in function, if not in years. That's why these two practices have become the cornerstones of serious longevity protocols. Not because they feel good, because the discomfort itself is the medicine. Now, let's look at each one separately. Then we'll talk about what happens when you combine them. Section 2. The case for sauna. What 25 years of Finnish research proves Finland has given the world a lot of things. But the most underrated export from that country might be the most comprehensive body of evidence on sauna use and human longevity that exists anywhere on Earth. The famous Kuopio ischemic heart disease study followed over 2,300 Finnish men for more than 2 decades. And what it found was remarkable enough that it made headlines in major medical journals worldwide. Men who used the sauna 4 to 7 times per week had a 40% lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease compared to men who used it only once per week. Not 5% lower, not 10%, 40%. Let that sit for a second. A habit that involves sitting in a hot room is producing cardiovascular outcomes that most medications would struggle to match. But the cardiovascular data is only the beginning. When your body is exposed to heat, serious heat, the kind a proper sauna produces, your core temperature rises, your blood vessels dilate, and your heart rate increases to levels comparable to moderate aerobic exercise. Your body is working hard. It's pumping. It's moving blood through the system at an elevated rate. Here's why that matters for aging. One of the defining features of cellular aging is the accumulation of damaged proteins. Proteins that no longer function correctly. Proteins that build up as debris inside cells and contribute to the conditions we associate with getting old. Reduced energy, cognitive decline, weakened immune function. Heat shock proteins actively seek out and repair this damage. Every session in the sauna is triggering a cellular repair response. And it doesn't stop there. Regular sauna use has been linked to reduced markers of systemic inflammation, improved insulin sensitivity, better sleep architecture, and in several studies, meaningfully reduced risk of neurodegenerative diseases, including Alzheimer's. The research on sauna is not fringe. It is not biohacker mythology. It is 2.5 decades of data from one of the most sauna-obsessed populations on the planet. And the data is extraordinary. Section 3. The case for cold. What happens when you force your body to survive now? Let's talk about the cold, because this is where people get really divided. Cold plunge, ice bath, cold shower. Whatever form it takes, the principle is the same. You are forcing your body into an environment it perceives as a threat, and your body responds accordingly. And in that response, that full system activation, something extraordinary happens biologically. Norepinephrine. Your body releases it in quantities that are difficult to replicate through almost any other means. Studies have shown cold water immersion increasing norepinephrine levels by 200 to 300%. This neurotransmitter is critical for focus, mood regulation, pain management, and attention. It's also powerfully anti-inflammatory. This is why people who cold plunge consistently report that their mental clarity after a session is unlike anything else they've experienced. It's not placebo. The neurochemistry is real and measurable, but the longevity angle runs deeper than the neurochemical response. Cold exposure activates brown adipose tissue, brown fat. Unlike regular white fat, which simply stores energy, brown fat actively burns calories to generate heat. People with higher brown fat activity have better insulin sensitivity, lower rates of metabolic disease, and across multiple studies, better long-term health outcomes. Cold exposure, done consistently, literally trains your body to generate and regulate heat more efficiently, which is a marker of metabolic youth. There's also the mitochondrial angle. Cold stress has been shown to trigger mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new mitochondria in your cells. And mitochondrial health is increasingly recognized as one of the most direct indicators of biological age. More mitochondria, better energy production, slower aging at the cellular. Section 4. Head-to-head, which one wins? So let's actually answer the question. Sauna versus cold plunge. Which one makes you live longer? For cardiovascular longevity, sauna wins. The evidence base is larger, older, and more conclusive. If you could only choose one for heart health and overall mortality reduction, the Finnish data is difficult to argue with. For brain health and neurochemical function, cold plunge has a strong case. The norepinephrine response, the anti-inflammatory effects, and the mental resilience built through voluntary cold exposure are all documented and significant. For metabolic health, cold plunge edges ahead. The activation of brown fat and the mitochondrial response give it a metabolic advantage that sauna doesn't fully match. For cellular repair, sauna wins again. Heat shock proteins are doing something at the protein repair level that cold exposure doesn't replicate. So the honest answer? Neither one wins outright. They are doing different things, complementary things. And the research increasingly suggests that the real longevity unlock is not choosing between them, it is using them together. Here is what I want you to take away from this. Your body was designed to handle discomfort. In fact, it was designed to require it. The cardiovascular system, the cellular repair mechanisms, the neurochemical balance, the mitochondria, all of it works better when it is periodically stressed and forced to adapt. The completely comfortable life, where temperature is always regulated and physical challenge is always optional, is not a life that your biology knows how to thrive in. Sauna and cold plunge are not trends. They are a return to something your body has always needed, controlled, intentional stress that forces adaptation and slows the biological clock. You don't need a luxury wellness clinic. You don't need a $10,000 cold plunge system. You need a local gym with a sauna or a bathtub and a bag of ice, and the willingness to be uncomfortable for a few minutes several times per week. The research has done its job. It has answered the question. Now the only question is whether you'll do yours. If this gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more content like this every week. And the next time you're standing at the edge of a cold shower, hand on the tap, negotiating with yourself whether to do it or not, remember what the data says. The discomfort is the whole point. See you in the next one.